the co-main of tonight. We have Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Yan. The rematch after Petr Yan decided to pull a bonehead move and DQ Aljamain. But we had the champ over here and the interim champ over here. Russia versus America, baby. We have Aljamain Sterling coming at 20-3 with a 5'7" height and a 71-inch reach. And his counterpart is Petr Yan coming at 16-2. His only loss in the UFC coming by way of that DQ to Aljamain. Petr is coming at 5'7" with a 67-inch reach. And boy, even though these gentlemen only weigh 135 pounds, they're looking absolutely gassed up this week. Both looking in excellent shape. This is just going to be probably a great title fight. There's so much animosity built up here from the DQ loss from Petr Yan, the illegal knee that he partook in last March. He says that Aljamain's been running. He's taken an interim belt versus Corey Sandhagen. This is going to be a bloodbath, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people go back and they have a jaded memory of what the first title fight was like and that it was all Petr. I have a different view. I went back and watched it. I think Aljamain definitely took the first 2 rounds, but Petr did not take any damage. He let Aljo gas himself out. And Aljo looked bad in rounds 3 and especially 4. He's about to be out of there. If Aljo can keep that gas tank under control and put the pressure on like he did, I think he can win the fight. However, I think Petr Yan has a real case for pound #1 fighter in the entire UFC. After what he did to Corey Sandhagen, he didn't knock him out, but he's one of the most technical fighters all around. He's beat Aldo. He's beat Uriah Faber. I mean, he was beating Aljo, beat Corey Sandhagen. This is what I have to say. What it comes down to. He is the Alexander Volkanovski of the bantamweight division. He is the most well-rounded, most complete fighter other than probably Alexander Volkanovski.
No, I could not have said that better. Quite frankly, I've seen their sparring footage together, and it really is a piece of art when Yan and Volk go at it. I have no idea who I would pick, either at, I assume it would take place at 45 if they ever fought. No idea who I would pick in that fight, but Petr Yan is an anomaly. And metaphorically speaking, I think Ivan Drago is going to kill Apollo Creed again, and we're all going to have to sit there and watch it. When I say he's an anomaly, I mean that Petr Yan is one of very few guys that has just progressively gotten better every single time that he's come out in recent memory. Like, he looked really good against Uriah Faber. He beat the shit out of Uriah Faber. But I think he took a step up in competition and looked really good against Aldo. He looked better than he did against Aldo, against Aljamain Sterling, up until Gage's, connoted bonehead move. He looked fantastic. And then he comes out against Sandhagen and shows that he might have the best spinning attacks in the entire UFC. Out of nowhere. Where the fuck did that come from? I think that Petr Yan is a very diverse striker, and I think Aljo has a very solid case to say that he could win this fight. I think the odds could probably be a little bit less skewed, but I just don't think Aljo is going to have what it takes to compete with this guy for 5 rounds. Because like you said, he plays chess. And even if Aljo can win the first 2 or 3 rounds, he's the only fighter I have ever seen win as many fights as he has with just bullshit volume striking. Like you said, none of the strikes he threw in the first 2 rounds of that first fight really even phased Yan. He was just throwing shit out there and hoping that something would stick. I am not concerned necessarily, but I think he'll probably try to rely a little bit more on his wrestling in this fight. I think he's in great shape and will have the ability to do so, but I don't think that anything he tries is going to stop Petr Yan from kicking his ass.
I mean, I want to agree. I want Petr Yan to kick Aljamain Sterling's ass. However, Aljamain Sterling, his volume, what won him the first 2 rounds. In his defense, or in Petr Yan's defense, Petr Yan has one of the best high guards in all of boxing. He is the most. I think he is the most technical boxer. He'd probably go and be a professional boxer and win multiple titles. He's that good. He's just so technical with his hands, and he doesn't ever get damaged, which is super crazy considering the elite competition he's faced. He's solid on the ground, but he's not going to want to go there. That's Aljamain Sterling wants him to get into the ground. You can go back and watch the first fight. Aljo would just fall down. Even he'd be like, come on, come down to the ground. I'm going to choke you out. And obviously, Piotr didn't want to do that for a good reason. Aljo's very long for the 135 weight class and very skilled. So, I think this is going to be a stand up battle. And I think that Piotr is going to come in with a little something extra. I think he's pissed that that he didn't get the win and that he doesn't have his belt. It's his belt. Aljamain
No,
didn't take it from him.
100%, 100%. He's dirty with that Muay Thai clinch too. He does a lot of good work from inside the clinch. But one of the things I've noticed about Petr Yan and where he really damages his opponents is off of that break from the clinch. I would almost reckon to be ballsy and put the take out there that, I wouldn't be surprised if off of the break from a clinch, he didn't hit Aljo with a head kick or an elbow or something that just puts him down flat on the mat. But all of that aside, I think he's so much better all around. And I agree. I think there's so much animosity between these two guys. I think Aljamain Sterling spent so much time talking trash to Petr Yan and trying to defend the reputation and the narrative that he is the real champ at 135.
And he hasn't fought since last time they fought.
I think the big thing that a lot of people are overlooking was he had surgery on his neck. This is not ACL surgery. This isn't even Tommy John for the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. This is like a
Peyton
serious
Manning.
surgery. And, maybe his injury wasn't as bad as it sounded, but I don't think he took the appropriate time to rehab that area. And it's just funny because your neck connects to your spinal cord and all your nerves stem out from there. So you have no idea what part of your body is going to give or not perform to the level you want it to when you tweak your neck like that.
Absolutely. I think this is going to be a career defining moment for these two individuals. I think they're going to forever be linked together because of what happened. What their legacies are going to be tied to this fight. And I think they're both excellent fighters and could definitely be legends in the game. I as much as we like to shun Aljo, I think he's a great fighter and probably, top 10, if not top 5 bantamweight of all time.
Where do you stand on assuming Petr Yan wins this fight with the controversy behind the first one? You have to do a trilogy, right?
No way. I think if the UFC, you're already in a stacked ass division. You just had the interim with Petr Yan and Corey Sandhagen, but who just beat Corey Sandhagen before that? You got TJ Dillashaw. I know he's coming off an ACL injury. He's a big name.
Yan versus Dillashaw is the fight that Yan wants too. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
That's probably the next title fight if he wins.
I mean, that whole division stack from top to bottom. I know it's going to play itself out, and there's a lot of guys that have not been beat by top names yet, but it's going to sort itself out. But I think TJ Dillashaw is next.
It's just crazy too because Petr Yan's not even 30 yet.
Yeah, he's 29. He just
he's
turned
still
29.
coming into his own prime. Like he's still finding his stride.
He there's no holes in his game.
Very few.
All right, here we go. All right, we have Aljamain Sterling coming as the plus 400 dog. Petr coming back as the minus 450 favorite. I mean, steep odds here for the interim title challenger or interim title champ, title unification challenger. If I'm getting that right.
I think you're getting that right, but this one's tough, man. Coming from someone who spends a lot of time just looking at odds and dreaming of bets to make, I don't think anything really satisfies my desire on this card or on this fight. I lean Jan by knockout, which would be a plus 175 bet, significantly better than the minus 450 money line. But I also don't know. Jan went 5 rounds with Corey Sandhagen and beat the shit out of him, but couldn't put him out of that fight. I respect Jan's game a lot, but I wouldn't be surprised if this fight went to a decision. So I don't think I really want to play any of those prop bets. I think I'm looking more so at using the minus 450 money line as a piece in one of my parlays.
I agree with you 100%. I'm taking Jan all day. We're not taking any bitch made neck boys like Sterling, Petr Yan in a parlay with Hamzat and Volkanovski. We'll break that down in our next video on Alexander Volkanovski. But that is the fucking parlay of the night. I know it's probably not going to net a bunch. It's not going to have great. It probably still be minus money, but Jesus, these three guys, I think they deserve it. I mean, if anybody, these are three locks. I'm just gonna say it, they're locks.
I would agree. I think, there might be value in playing some of these underdogs. If you're going to play one out of the three, I would say that Gilbert Burns probably has the best chance to win. But, short of saying big balls in Cowtown and giving it a good hand licking slap, I would agree. I think it would be a little bit foolish to bet against any of these top three favorites on this card.
I think if you're gonna bet against anybody, you bet. If you want to hedge it, say you put these three into a parlay, you go down here, you take Sterling by submission plus 1100, you throw 10, $20 on it, see if you can do any good with that. I mean, at the end of the day, you're only losing 10 or 20, but the comeback, I mean, it's pretty good.
True.